Speech, of course, the British film making all the headlines, but it's not all about Colin Firth. A team of hundreds brought it to the screen.
Among them, the film's sound recordist, who himself is up for an Oscar. Our correspondent Rachel Hepworth went to meet him at his home in Oxfordshire to find out what life was really like on set.
It's the actors who are household names, but spare a thought for the experts behind the camera.
Mitch, stand by with the wind.
Take John Midgley, for example. There he is in the background, but without him, films like The Harry Potters, The Phantom Menace and The King's Speech would be silent.
Anything that gets said on the set, I record. The dialogue, obviously, the effects, if there's music involved. On The King's Speech, for instance, I was there for the 39 days of shooting.
As soon as we can, please, everybody, let's go.
In Hollywood terms, 39 days and a £10 million budget is nothing. The process, however, is identical.
It does look like complete chaos behind the camera to anyone who walks on the set. But hopefully in front it's working fine. But I mean, to give an example of that, when we shot the scene in the cellar where they go in to get the wine, there is a cameraman involved in that because no one else could come down the cellar because it is a 180-degree pan. And so, for instance, I had mics up in the pipework above the cellar. The artists were mic'd, personal mics, and everyone had to be out of the way so the camera could do this 180-degree pan.
Not the same thing.
We shot it mostly on location, which is always quite difficult because it's a 1930s film in central London.
I know my place.
We shot in Regent's Park, very long tracking shots around Regent's Park where we couldn't, for instance, see the BT building. And yeah, very difficult situation.
In a film so much about communication, John and director Tom Hooper wanted to recreate the authentic sound of those early recordings. Well, there's that very poignant opening scene when Bertie's struggling to give the speech at Wembley, and it is that sort of echoey, melancholy sound of that early microphone.
Absolutely, and I think also Tom and I were both aware of trying to get Colin's glottal stops, you know, all those sort of little noises when he was trying to get the words out, and I think that came over very well in the film.
But is being a good sound mixer a bit like being a referee? The best ones don't get noticed.
I think it is very fair to say that you only really get noticed if there's a problem. And that's really, you have to be a sort of diplomat in the way you approach, for instance, the actors to mic them up. You just have to work it out and test the temperature all the time.
John is now in constant demand, having worked on scores of films, from blockbusters like Harry Potter to independents like Sliding Doors, Control and Children of Men. Along the way, he's worked with the very best actors and directors.
It always seems so glamorous, our business, but I'm sorry, when you're standing in snow, coming at 90 degrees, on a back street in Edinburgh, which I was doing last year at 11 o'clock at night, and the pressure's on to get it right. No, there's no glamour involved in that at all.
But on Oscar night, he will be on the red carpet. And today, a parcel has arrived from Hollywood.
The DVD titled An Insider's Guide to What Every Nominee Needs to Know. And I think Tom Hanks on this DVD is going to tell me how long I can speak for, and I mustn't cry, for instance. But I think the main thing, oh yes, spontaneity takes preparation.
And you'd think an Oscar-nominated sound man would have perfect hearing, wouldn't you?
No, my hearing is terrible. I mean, for God's sake, after 40 years in the business of wearing headphones, it's got to get bad. I suffer from terrible, I mean, cocktail parties, I don't hear anyone. But for instance, when you sat down there, I noticed your feet were noisy. Isn't that sad?
Let's hope John hears his name called out on Sunday. Rachel Hepworth in Chalgrove for Meridian Tonight.
Got a short memory, Bertie, come on.
Oh, I do hope he wins. He seems like a very nice man.
Fingers crossed.
They can cry, can't they?
I know.
I always cry at awards.
I know, I think it
maybe
looks...
because I don't win anything.
It's more dramatic. Actually, that is true.
And